morning and welcome to our second ever Pastor Pete in his pajamas, where I tell you some of my favorite Bible stories while, you guessed it, wearing my pajamas. Well, for today's stories, we have some special guests that are going to help us. We've got this cute, fluffy little sheep. How many of you guys have a cute, fluffy sheep at your home, maybe in your bed or in your stuffed animal bin? Well, my son's name is Shepherd, and as you can imagine, he has quite a few sheep laying around in his room. We also are joined by our faithful cowboy companion, Woody, and of course, one of his little alien friends, and they are hanging out over here on this wonderful boat. Well, over the past couple of weeks in Sunday school, we have been talking about sin. And we've talked about how our sin causes separation between us and our God. We've been looking at the story of the Israelites as they grumbled and complained in the desert. And at each time they sin, they find themselves getting further and further away from God. We also see that no matter how much they sin, God is there to forgive them when they say that they are sorry. God forgives them over and over and over again because there is no limit to God's mercy and compassion upon us. Well, one of my favorite stories that demonstrates this kind of mercy and this kind of forgiveness comes from the New Testament. It's in Luke chapter 15, and you can find it in verses 4 through 7. And it's called the story of the lost sheep. You see, Jesus tells this story to a large crowd of people because he is spending a lot of time with men and women who have sinned. And you see, that rubs some of the priests and the Pharisees and the pastors the wrong way. And Jesus hears them complaining that he is spending time with people that have done bad things. And so Jesus turns to them and tells them this story. We're going to read this story from one of my favorite Bible story books, the New Testament Interactive Bible Stories for Children. It's kind of hard to find because it's no longer in print, but if you can get a copy of this, I would strongly recommend it. Now, this story is a pretty interactive story, and so we're going to have to play along together, and maybe you're going to have to talk to your family or your siblings, or just talk right back to me on the screen. I bet you if you yell loud enough, I might be able to hear you over here in my house. And so this is the little lost sheep. Jesus once told a story about a little sheep that was lost. What would a little lost sheep sound like, do you think? Let me hear you. Would he say, "Bah," all alone in a dark place? Well, let's pretend you are that little lost sheep. I'm going to close my eyes while you hide somewhere in this room. Tell me when you're ready, and then I'll try to find you. Covering my eyes. Where are you? Where are you? Oh, I think I found you. You're right over there. All right, you can come back out here and sit, and we'll finish this story. In Jesus' story, the shepherd was worried about the little sheep he couldn't find. Have you ever been lost? What did that feel like? Who came to find you? I remember when I was little, I got lost in the grocery store. I felt really scared. But of course, my parents found me. Well, the shepherd called and called to the little lost sheep, but he never heard an answer. How might you call for a little lost sheep? Would you whisper quietly so it didn't run away? Would you yell as loud as you could so it could hear you from far, far away? what might it sound like for you to call for that little lost sheep? The shepherd was worried. He loved his little sheep. It was getting dark, and soon wolves and mountain lions would go out hunting. "I'd better go look for my little sheep right now," the shepherd said. There were 99 other sheep already safely tucked into the fold and ready to go to sleep. Would you leave 99 of your sheep to go look for that one lost sheep? Well, let's look for the little lost sheep with the shepherd. Go ahead, stand up. Let's look behind the door. No sheep here. What about under the table? Or can you check in your closet? Still no little lost sheep. Let's try calling to the little sheep. "Where are you? Little lost sheep, where are you?" The shepherd looked and looked and hoped and walked and walked. The sky was growing darker. He climbed over big rocky hills. He crossed a bubbling stream. He carefully stepped through prickers and thorns. Ouch! Did you feel that thorn? Finally, the shepherd heard a faint little "Bah." Let's listen too. "Bah." There it is, a little louder. "Bah!" Look! The shepherd found the sheep. Its woolly white coat was caught in a thorny bush. "Bah!" said the scared little sheep, who was glad to hear the voice of the shepherd. What do you think the shepherd did when he found the little lost sheep? Well, he picked it up in his strong arms and hugged it. The little sheep's heartbeat was fast as the shepherd held it close. Let's pretend we're hugging a warm, cuddly sheep. I've got mine right here. The shepherd carried the sheep gently back to the fold. "Look," the shepherd called to his friends, I found my little lost sheep. Come and celebrate with me." The shepherd loved his little sheep and took good care of it. Well, Jesus is like that shepherd, and we are like the little sheep. Jesus loves us very much, and he'll always take good care of us. And if we ever wander away from him, he will always come and find us. Wasn't that a great story? The truth is, oftentimes you and I make mistakes. We sin. We disobey. We are mean to our siblings. We're disrespectful to our parents. But God is there to save us. God is there to forgive us. God is there to find us when we wander. Another way of thinking about it is like this. Imagine that God's way is like this boat. And when we follow God, we are on this boat traveling alongside him to our destination. We are like this little alien friend, and Woody is like Jesus. And when we ask for forgiveness, we are comfortably aboard the ship. But sometimes our little alien friend sees something off the side of the ship that is interesting to him. Sometimes he thinks to himself, maybe I shouldn't be on this boat. Maybe I could swim faster than this boat. Maybe I don't actually need Jesus. Perhaps I can do it all on my own. And so he jumps off into the water. How many of you guys can swim? Yeah. How long do you think you could swim in the water without grabbing the edge? Maybe a few minutes? Maybe the best swimmers could swim even an hour? We see our little alien friend who jumped off of Jesus' boat, that decided they could do it all on their own, probably can swim here for a while. Maybe he's swimming alongside the ship. Maybe he's swimming away from the ship. But after a while, our little friend will get tired. After a while, our little friend might start to struggle to keep his head above the water. It's in those moments that he has two choices: to allow himself to drift far, far, far away from the boat, or to turn back, where Jesus is throwing him a safety preserver and can save him from the water. See, our little alien friend chose to get back onto the boat. And that's just the same with you and I. When we disobey God and when we sin, we choose to find our own way. We choose to jump off of the boat. When we decide that the things that we like and the things that we want to do are more important than where God is leading us, then we are like that little alien, assuming that he can swim in the water farther than God can take him in the boat. But just like when we're treading water, after a while, when we've sinned and we've chosen our own way, we're going to realize that we can't keep up. And our head is starting to slip beneath the water of sin. And in those moments, we have a really important decision. Are we going to swim back to the boat? Are we going to receive the life ring that Jesus has tossed us? Are we going to get back on board and continue to travel to the destination God is leading us? Or are we going to drift far, far away from God? No matter what we have done, no matter how many times we have sinned, Jesus is there to welcome us back aboard. But it's up to us to choose to receive that great gift from Jesus and enter back into his way. I hope you enjoyed our story time today, and I look forward to joining you again next week.